Well, as we hit another lockdown, I'm going to take the opportunity to do something I've been wanting to do for years, which is to take a meandering walk through the book of Ecclesiastes. And I invite you to come with me on the journey. Just every day, all I want to do is put up a little video that's 4 or 5 minutes long that just helps us to navigate another part of this ancient book that is so packed with wisdom about how to live life well in this world. Because I think that's what Ecclesiastes is about. How do we live well? And how do we live in a way that is properly human in this world? How do we make sense of this world? And how do we navigate it in a way that is meaning and purpose and significance? How do we make relationships work? How do we make good and wise decisions that will shape not just my own life in the way that I want it to be shaped, but actually the lives of people around me and the community and society around me? And it's not just some theoretical question, is it? It's not. I just don't need insight to know how to live. It's actually, how do I follow through on that? There are times in life when we just find ourselves going, I have no idea what to say or to do in this situation. But I think more disturbingly, there actually are many more times when we do know what we should say, we do know what we should do, but we find that we don't want to do it, or we find that we can't do it. And Ecclesiastes isn't content with giving us insight into the world and saying, okay, now you know how to live. No, Ecclesiastes wants us to actually live that out. How do we align our heart and our mind and our will behind the insights into life that we have? How do we actually live, not just know how to live well, but how do we actually live well? And it might seem strange that we would go to such an ancient text. I mean, Ecclesiastes is a book that was written like maybe 3,000 years ago in a completely different culture. And what on earth would that book, that ancient book, have to say to life in today's world? Well, I think actually maybe the worlds aren't that different in real terms. Or maybe it's that people aren't that different in real terms. There's quite a lot of people who think that for all the progress that we've made, actually, all our development has really been sort of external and in some ways quite superficial. That the really deep internal problems of humanity, the deep things that torment us and that make life such an enigma, that seem to just make it a trial, a burden. The things that seem to hide the meaning of life from us, the purpose of life from us, the significance of life from us. Those things, actually, we've made remarkably little progress against. And I think there's a case to be made that we're actually living in a culture that by and large has given up the idea that there might even be answers to these questions. And if they are, they probably can't be discovered. As one wag once put it, the more things change, actually, the more they stay the same. And the fear is that for generations, we've been unable to find answers to these questions, and so we succumb to the fear that maybe there aren't actual any answers out there. Maybe life is just hard. Maybe it is just turmoil and frustration. Maybe there is no meaning to it all. Maybe everything is futile. Maybe all we can hope for is that we can make our own meaning, our own significance, find our own purpose. Maybe the best we can do is just try to enjoy life as much as we can, not make too many mistakes on the way through, not hurt too many people too badly. Maybe that's all there is. I'll be honest with you. As a vicar, I have sat through many funerals over the years where it is very clear to me that people have genuinely struggled to find something worthwhile to say about the person who's died. I think that's a frightening thing to realize. And oftentimes, it's too easy just to get bitter and disillusioned and resentful and angry. or not even to be able to muster the emotional energy to do that. We just kind of give up. We give in to a kind of fatalism that goes, well, there's no point, or if there is a point, it's I don't know what it is. So what is the point? You begin to realize that you could achieve a huge amount in life. You could accumulate a huge amount, and actually, it can all be undone when we're gone. Or just one mistake can unravel years of hard, careful work. Everything can be squandered, everything can be lost in just a moment. And we're going through this pandemic, right? And we're going into lockdown. And I think there are huge questions being asked. So much of what we've taken for granted about life and our place in life. So much of the structures of society that we've looked to give us routine and stability and maybe even purpose and direction and have enabled us to find our place in the world. All of that is being stripped away. So much that has shaped us, so much that we've relied on is simply gone. And I think for a while we went, well, it's okay because it'll all be back in just a few months. And we're beginning to wake up to the fact that actually it might be a very long time before we go back to the way things were. We may never go back to a time when things are normal, as at least we once understood it. People talk now about this being a new normal. This is life. And I think it's quite frightening for a lot of us because we're worried that in this new world of isolation, in this new world where we are not able to reach out to even the people who are closest to us, in this new world where so much seems so fragile, in this new world where so much has been taken from us, actually, we're just going to have to face up to who we really are when we are on our own and what our life really is all about. And I wonder if that doesn't frighten us more than we would care to admit. Well, Ecclesiastes, this ancient book of wisdom, speaks to all of this and more.